So if you could kindly start by telling us what are the current trends in the equity markets and how are they affecting your core strategy?
Al, thank you for your time today. So we've had a very interesting 2 years in equity capital markets across the region. I think we've obviously seen a large trend towards deepening of financial markets, mainly with the issuance of a number of IPOs coming to the market. We've seen governments obviously being very proactive with encouraging the development of both the UAE exchanges, the Tadawul in Saudi Arabia. Oman has been a very proactive recent issuer, and even Kuwait, where we did a recent transaction on the Borsa Kuwait. So overall, we've seen a very strong impetus to develop capital markets with initially government companies coming to the market. So the most recent trend is post these government IPOs is a number of private sector companies that are looking to raise capital, both primary and secondary, come to the market. Saudi Arabia has been at the forefront of that process, where we've had a number of Saudi private sector companies IPO. EFG has been privileged to introduce a number of these companies to the exchange in the last 18 months. And I think that trend will continue. Growth capital is a big driver of the Saudi market. There are lots of growth opportunities in Saudi, and we are seeing a number of private sector companies who have those aggressive growth profiles come and tap the market, whether to either bring capital to reduce gearing ratios or capital to actually continue to grow their top line with expansion of different product segments or new divisions within their product portfolio.
Wonderful. And how do macroeconomic factors impact equity capital raising activity?
So initially, I think the big picture for the region continues to be one of fiscal expansion. That has obviously been most evident by what the UAE and the Saudi governments have been doing. I think it's a very important pillar of keeping the growth story intact. Clearly, economics and macroeconomics and geopolitics are very important drivers. The oil price is incredibly important for the Saudi economy. So $70 to $80 of oil is a very comfortable range for the Saudi macro policies to be still effective and functioning. But I think below that, we would certainly see some tapering off some of the giga projects that Saudi has announced. In the UAE in particular, geopolitics is very important. I mean, oil is important, but the continued flow of people and tourism into the UAE economies remains very important. And certainly stability is incredibly important to continue to drive economic development across the region.
And how would you classify your goals in your division for the next 1 to 3 years? And how do you prioritize sectors or regions when it comes to your equity offerings?
So, I mean, our goal is, whether it's 1, 3 or 5 years, is to be the number one ECM house across the region. You know, EFG has built a reputation across the GCC and MENA markets as a forefront of providing capital markets expertise. And first half of this year, we were incredibly fortunate to be ranked number one. The continued focus will be to bring high quality companies to the market, whether it be in Saudi or Kuwait or Oman or Egypt or Morocco or the UAE. So our objective is to find new interesting ideas for investors to put capital to work in, and to help companies continue to fulfill their ambitions, either graduating from family-owned or institutional-owned private equity companies into the public market space.
And if I was to ask you, what are some challenges and opportunities we're facing in the current global environment, how would you answer that?
So challenges, I think, would be we actually have a lot of capital chasing too few opportunities in the region. If we look at the types of books that we build on IPOs, we've seen IPOs that are 160, 170 times covered. And this is really a function of not enough opportunities. So it's also a function of other capital markets not really functioning. And I think that's a key challenge. So we've seen a lot of capital chase small deals in Saudi, in the UAE, and I think that needs to change, and that remains the biggest challenge. So ideally, in my kind of goals next 3 years, is to try and find larger deals that can cater towards larger asset allocators, like big emerging market investors who have to this point not really been that active in our IPO window. We've seen dedicated EMEA, MENA managers participate, and obviously domestic capital, which has grown tremendously over the last 5 years, also participate. But I'd like to see larger IPOs, bigger companies with bigger deal sizes that cater to larger pools of capital come to our region.
Well, thank you for your insights, and thank you for joining us here at Economy Middle East.
Very welcome. Thank you.